2026. Dear Baffled Me. Have you ever tried to use logic and reasoning to understand something where logic does not apply? Every time you think you get to it, you figured it out, something changes and lets you know that you didn't. That's where my brain has been today. I had an email come through last weekend about a job, and I was kind of curious what that would lead to. Um, for those who don't know, job hunting, accepting jobs is my self harm. I will do that in order to feel wanted. My brain tells me that being able to interview for a job means I got picked. Getting the job means that they chose me. It's a huge dopamine hit for me. So I will apply for jobs and get jobs that I don't know how to say no to. But I get this email last week and I respond to the email, although I love the job that I currently have. There's no reason for me to go looking for a new one. And I set up an appointment to talk with them today. Just kind of wanted to know more about it. And so this morning they call me and I get some information about it and I instantly get excited because, wow, this job sounds really great. It sounds really cool. It's doing the exact same thing that I'm doing now with like a bonus twist to it. And I want more information. And I knew that I should have gotten more information because that opens the door to me wanting to get this job. So I get more information and I get excited and I'm asking questions, and in my head all morning long I'm trying to figure out how I can make this work. How do I pull this off? I don't know, but I figured the least I could do was give it a try. And so I send in my resume and my certification and I send out references. Like I go through the whole process as if I'm taking this job. Because in my head, why wouldn't I? Why would I turn down that opportunity? And so I am excited about it. And I can't wait to come home and talk to my husband about it. Because, again, that just makes sense. Obviously, if I'm excited about it, he's going to be excited about it. Right? That's how that works? No. I know that's not how it works. But if I can convince myself that's how it's going to go, I can stay excited. So I get home and I take care of the dogs and I lay down for a nap because I am upset. This morning, I was upset. I took a shower and all the bad things that I had let played out in my head the night before were just living there. So I knew I was upset and I knew I left for work feeling upset, which I think helped motivate me to look more into this position because I knew that I was upset. And I come home, and because I'm upset, I take care of the dogs and I lay on the couch and I'm watching TV and I set my alarm to get up so I can pick up my kid from school. And it goes to this plan. I get up, my husband comes in. I was really like startled because I wasn't expecting him to walk in. And I think I reacted to that because he was just like, "What's wrong?" And it was just that I was asleep and hadn't expected him to walk in. So like I jumped up thinking that I had to go pick up my kid right then and there, but wasn't time. It was a clusterfuck. And so I get my stuff and I go pick up my kid, and we talk on the way back about how great his day was and all the things that are happening at school, the usual. And we get home and I come into my office because it's kind of my retreat. Like when I don't want to be bothered, I come into my office, especially now that I have this new office. Before, my office didn't have a door. And so people walked by and would talk to me, which is fine. I didn't mind that. I find that having a door in my office leaves me to close it and just kind of be closed off from everybody. And I do that intentionally now. I notice that I close myself off. Whereas before, I was kind of inviting people in to talk to me and hang out with me. I've got to work on it. It's a work in progress. But I'm sitting here in my office and I get this craving for a drink that I could go get myself, but I'm not going to. And so I send a message to my husband about do or die. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't get this drink right here, right now, I'm sure I'm gonna die. And you don't have to do it, but it may be held against you at a later point. So my husband agrees to do it, and we go together to get this drink. But before we go, I'm excited and I'm telling him my news, and he doesn't seem nearly as excited as I do. So I'm trying to figure out why. Like, what makes him falter in this great plan of mine? And so he's telling me, well, this particular position, we would take you away for 9 months and I wouldn't be able to see you. Okay. That's fine. Well, no, but I just want to see you. I don't compute that. I don't understand. And I recognize that to him, it makes complete logical sense. And to me, I am baffled and do not understand it. And he was like, that's it. I just, I want to be able to see you. And in my head, I am using logic. Well, right now we have opposite shifts. He goes to work to play poker at 7 or 8 o'clock, and I go to bed, and I get up in the morning, and then I go to work, and by the time I get up to go to work, he's going to sleep. So we just kind of miss each other. So we don't really see each other now. And he was just like, well, I want to be able to, to touch you. And my thought was, we don't do that now either, because last night he didn't have to do poker. He wasn't playing poker at all, but still chose to stay up all night long instead of coming to bed with me. So in my mind, nothing changes. There's no reason why we should not do this. And I realized that I'm trying to apply this reasoning and this logic to something that for him may not have reasoning or logic to it. For him, it's simply like, hey, this is how I feel. And for me, it was like, nothing changed. So why does it matter? I get stuck. I am a very logic and reasoning kind of person, to the point that I will throw away any other suggestion, any other idea that contradicts it. Because for me, A plus B equals C. And because A plus B equals C, why would I consider anything else? Why would it make any sense to try to consider anything else? It doesn't. And so I come into my office and I do what I usually do. I find a sounding board. I call a friend, best friend, and I say like, hey, I'm really baffled by this. I need to hear from somebody else. What are you thinking? And I give them the spiel like, hey, this job, this is what it's like. This is what the details are. And without missing a beat and me saying anything, the friend goes, you guys don't do that now. And I'm like, okay, so it's not just me. It's not just in my head that this doesn't happen and nothing changes. That's just what it is. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. And I don't know how to wrap my head around that, because I don't think that he's lying to me. I don't think that I'm misunderstanding what he is saying. I do believe those things are important to him. But for me, they aren't important enough to do anything about them while I'm here. So why would it matter if I'm not here? That's my logic. And it's not like I'm gone forever, because there's vacations and weekends and the whole 9 yards. But he doesn't see things that way. And I thought that was really interesting, that for me, it was just, this makes sense. Why would I not do anything? We don't sleep in the same bed together now. We don't hang out together now. I mean, perfect example is that he is up somewhere in my house. I believe he was going to the living room. I've been in my office since we got back from getting gas, and we had barely talked or interacted. And I recognize part of that is because I came to my office and I shut my door, and that was the end of it. I presume that he's probably in the living room, either laying down or playing on his phone. That's just kind of what we do when we're home. We are very different that way. But knowing that we're very different that way, and that we don't really interact with each other, we just kind of coexist near each other, I don't assume automatically that I'll be missed if I'm gone. That's not how my brain works. Especially with technology. You've got FaceTime. We both have Apple products, so it's not like we can't FaceTime. I'm not against a plane ride. I just, in my head, it's feasible and it makes sense because nothing actually changes. And so I get really baffled and I get really stuck in it. And I just kind of replay it in my head over and over again because I'm trying to figure out how to explain to him my thought process while not trampling over his feelings. Because I'm not intending to do that. But I know that for the last couple of days that my feelings have been really hurt. And I think that kind of spawns where this goes for me. He doesn't necessarily say things I don't think with the intent to hurt me, or at least I would hope not. But things get said and things happen and they hit me really hard. For example, yesterday was him coming to bed while I was getting up. And I made the comment that he sleeps better without me. And he just kind of agreed to it. And so for me, that turned into him saying that. And he's like, well, I didn't say that. You said that. No, but you agreed to it. Like, you went along with the idea that essentially you're better sleeping without me. So if that's the case, me not being here would actually be a plus for you. And then we were talking about the idea of I wanted a pedicure last night and he was not into giving me a pedicure. And that hurt my feelings. Not because I didn't get the pedicure, but for me, the pedicure represented one-on-one time where he actually had to interact with me. It is the one time that he can't necessarily overly focus on his phone because, well, you're touching my feet and we're going to talk and like we're going to interact with each other. And that's why I set it up that way. But of course, I don't say that. I just kind of nudge, nudge. This is why we should do this so that we can do it together. And again, that didn't work out last night. And so that hurt my feelings because it was like, how do I convey to somebody who presumably knows me that this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm wanting? I don't know how to communicate that properly. And so I just didn't. And I just kind of went to bed upset with that. And then he came to lay with me at some point last night and I'm explaining to him like, hey, this really bothered me. And it bothered me because you said this. And his first reaction was just to laugh at me. And I don't think, again, that he was doing it to be rude, but to me it came as a slight because I'm telling you that I feel upset or I'm sad about something, and your first reaction is to laugh. I'm confused. I'm so baffled on how it can be important for me to stay here if that is your reaction when I'm talking to you about how I feel. So I was a little perturbed by that. And then it was he's starting a new business. And he's working hard to get it going. He's doing really well. And I support that. I don't always understand it. I don't know the ins and outs of his business. I know that he enjoys playing poker and that's what he wants to do. And I say, go for it. That's your dream. Live your dream. And so that looks like me watching his Twitch streams and helping him set that up, and then YouTube and all the likes, which I've done. No complaints. Then I asked it last night, so where are you with my podcast? Oh, I'm like 4 or 5 episodes behind. Okay. That felt like a slap in the face. If I can get on, watch you, and support you daily, why am I not worth that same effort? And his thought process wasn't that he wasn't showing me effort or that I wasn't important. His thought process was my podcast. He could just watch them in a bunch at some point and catch up to them. But because I'm who I am, I watch that number religiously. Okay, so 1 person streamed me today. 5 people streamed me today. And then when that passes, it's on to the next show to see how many people streamed that episode. I'm not going back to see if the number rose in the other ones because at that point, I've already clocked that only 5 people liked it. Maybe. And in a perfect world, my husband would be one of those. And that's not what I heard last night. Last night I heard that my business adventures didn't mean as much as his. I heard that while I should support his things that he wants and back him up, that he can do so at will with mine. And it hurt. And it's not that he doesn't support what I'm doing. I mean, he cheers me on and tells me good job all the time. But it felt different knowing that I show up for him daily, and mine was kind of whenever he gets around to it. So when considering all those things together, I hear this opportunity, and it's baffling to me. Why would you want me to stay? I I don't understand. We don't interact now. How could it be important to lose that? How do you lose something you don't have? And that's how my brain works. And I recognize that for me, that has a lot to do with my mental health. I was already in the mindset that I wasn't loved, I wasn't wanted, I wasn't needed, I'm not important. And because those things existed this morning, it was really easy to see this opportunity as a way to free myself from a situation. Well, then I could just be by myself, and he could be by himself, and everything will be fine. Everything will be great. It'll give us the chance to live out our lives by ourselves as we're doing now. I had the habit of either being really emotional with something or overly rational with it. In therapy, we call it the three mindsets. There's the wise mind, which is a combination of the both. There is the emotion mind, which I'm really good at. And then there is a third one that starts with the R, but it's not registering right now. But I do one or the other. I don't do wise mind. I can't be in the middle. Either it's I feel all of this, or I feel all of this, so I'm going to do this other irrational thing to make up for it. Perfect example. If you tell me you've been eating a lot of cereal lately, my reaction isn't to explain to you, I don't have the energy to eat anything else. I don't have the mental capacity to go in my kitchen and cook. What I'm going to say is, fine, I'll never eat cereal again. You'll never catch me eating a bowl of cereal. That seems a bit extreme for, hey, you've eaten a lot of cereal lately. But that's how I rationalize it. I take everything as a personal hit. Everything is personal. No matter how unpersonal that it isn't. That's mental health. We hear the things that are not said. So you can say, hey, you did a great job today. And I'll hear the inflection in your voice that says, you're just saying that because you're supposed to. He doesn't say that he listens to my podcast and hears what he hears about it. It's oh no, they were good. In which, in my mind, well, I know that on several of those podcasts I was bitching about you. So how do you take away that was good from that? Like, why don't you have questions about, like, hey, why was this your thought? Hey, why did this happen? Where was this going? It seems to be a lack of an interest. But again, that may not be true. It's just how I hear it. That's how it makes me feel. And because that's how it makes me feel, that's what I run with. That's mental health. Mental health is fighting the thoughts that you have against the reality that exists. And it's a fight. Constantly. So today, my bite of pie was, I had a good day at work, had a great time with my client, and I came home and said, you know what? I'm taking a nap. I'm going to lay down and rest before I get into something with somebody because I don't need to fight. There's no reason for it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to relax and kind of let my mind calm down, knowing that's what I needed to do. Not everything has to be a fight. I don't have to understand everything all the time as much as I want to. And believe me, I want to. Today was just accepting things how it was. I didn't like it. I liked aspects of the day. I did not like my day. My day's not over yet. I still have to have dinner. I still need to take care of things for tomorrow, make plans. And I will. I wanted to work on my book today. Haven't touched it. But I will. I'll take it one day at a time because that's the best that I can do. That's all I've got. So, just remember, today is another page in the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be written. And before you close your journal tonight, ask yourself, what was your bite of pie today? Until tomorrow.